Hello, guys and gals. How are you doing today? Man, I'm excited to chat with you. I hope you brought your questions, because that is what group coaching is all about. I'm here to answer your questions. Your question about business, your question about productivity, your questions about all of that. So I'm checking in on the Facebook, and I'm going to be looking for questions there. Before we dive in today, this is implementation month. So you might have noticed you didn't get a monthly download. And I realized that the consumption of the content has slowed a little bit. And maybe you guys were feeling a little overwhelmed. And so I decided to do implementation months 3 times a year. So there will be like a couple months of content and then an implementation month, and 3 months of content and an implementation month. I think that's how it works out. So where are we right now? I'm looking at my wall calendar. It is November 11th. So implementation. Yeah. So we'll do 3 months of content, and then we'll have an implementation month where you can go back, you can review a previous module, you can integrate things deeper, you can come on and get group coaching around something specific, and then really have the time to implement it, because worse than anything is when you have a program and you don't actually have the time to get it done, right? So, hey, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're watching the replay, #replay. So let's talk about this first, because I know I'm going to get questions about it. What are the sticky notes on your wall? So in the middle, you'll see blue. Okay, blue corresponds with a month. So November, December, January, February, March. And below that, you'll see 2 colors. The green at the bottom stands for VIP days. So they're clients that come in and do, a VIP day with me. The light blue right here, it's like a tealy kind of baby blue color. Those are for course doctoring, course ghostwriting clients. And then on the top, the lime green, that is for integration clients. So clients who want to help me integrate their business. I have been flexing my own productivity muscles, and with all of the new kinds of things I'm doing, I had to really step back and think, okay, how much time does it actually take for me to deliver a certain result for clients? So if we think about building a module in a course, right? How much time does it actually take to create the content? How much communication time does it take? How long does it take my team to do the design? How long does it take to get edits back from the client and then, give them a second draft? So all the things like that, you don't think about it, but it actually takes a lot of time. And so I did some work around that and around how much time it actually takes. And I stacked, okay, well, then how many clients can I actually take? And I'm maxed out right now. I have room for maybe 1 more integrator client, but I'm pretty much maxed out. And then obviously, like you'll see in December, I have 2 VIP spots open. I have 1 ghostwriting client space open. Same for January, right? I have my 2 VIP spots. I have my 1 ghostwriting client open. And then in February and March, things really open back up. That's like 3 or 4 months out, and people don't usually book out further than that. So now I'm bringing on people for January and so on. Anyway, I digress. But that's what that is. And a lot of people who have one-on-one clients, that's directly applicable. But I also want you to think of it in terms of 2021 and projects and goals and things you want to create, right? To actually put a visual on the wall of like, here are the months. What are my big projects each month? Like sticky notes on the wall, it's so rudimentary, but oh my goodness, it just like it anchors everything into the physical for me. I don't know, like I've always used them, but using them in this format has been incredibly helpful. And then the other thing I have over here, so this is prospecting, right? So on the blue, I have different kinds of services I offer. So VIP days, ghostwriting content, business integration, and then course doctoring. So ghostwriting is like creating one from scratch with someone, and doctoring is like taking an existing course and making it better. And then there's some people who kind of want a little bit of both. And so they're up here as well. But those are 3 people who want to work with me, and I have, some of them have proposals out. Some of them were just still kind of in our initial conversation stage, but also really good to have directly in front of you. Like, oh my gosh, how many people are you talking to fill that? Because right now it's super full. So the fact that I only have 3 names on that board does not freak me out. But 2 weeks ago, I had 7 people on that board. Now most of them have moved over here. So these are the things, right? These are the metrics, especially when you're starting a business, that you have to track. Is how many clients do you currently have? How many clients are you available to take? And also, how filled is the pipeline to get there? Right? It's almost like a post-it version of a CRM. And I have my online CRM, right, with all of like my notes and my contracts and my invoices and like all that stuff. But just like very bare bones, very basic, like what are our numbers and who are our people is great. Now, from a woo perspective, right, from a woo-woo perspective, we've talked a lot about energy. And many times during the day, if I meditate or I'm feeling called, or after, it doesn't matter, after I meditate, I'll just take a second and I'll literally, like, from your heart, right? You think about someone you love. Imagine your heart getting all warm and glowy and, thinking about this person, or sometimes I think about Juniper, right? That you love. And then you take that energy, that pink energy, and you imagine it coming out of the palms of your hands and blessing it over all of these people. So whether they're current clients or potential clients or past clients, like I have my past clients wall over there, which, hello, follow-ups, right? So, and you just like send pink energy. It takes about 30 seconds, 40 seconds. But just like, it's a really good state change for you. And it really helps you remember like why you do what you do and why you're here. So if you're doing this with clients, that's a great way to do it. But even with projects, it works too. If you have projects on the wall, bless your projects with pink light, guys. Bless them. Just bless them. Keep blessing them with pink light. It's good stuff. So that's kind of been new in my productivity world. That's what I've been working on. And I will also show you how I've been tracking my time. So I'm going to share my screen. So remember I said I've been tracking my time to really make sure that I'm aligned in terms of the time I think it's going to take to do something and the time it actually takes to do something. So this is called Toggl, Toggl. It is a free, there's paid options, but my team uses it as a free service. And what you get to do is put in projects. So let's say for me, right, that's literal people, right? I'm doing client work with projects with different people. For some of you guys, it might look like how much time do you spend on social media? How much time do you spend doing lead generation? How much time do you spend on sales calls? How much time do you spend? Like you can track it by different activities, like the needle moving activities in your business. Or you could also track it with like client delivery time versus client prep time. I'm trying to think about some of the different businesses in here. If you have a team, how I'm using this with my team is my VAs. All my VAs have access to this, and they also track based on project. So if they're working a slide deck for Cassie, they tag it under Cassie. If they are working a slide deck for Tyler, they put it under Tyler. If they're doing communications, they pop it and they tag it using communications. And the beautiful thing is when you look at that, like right now for this week, you can see most of my time is spent under no project, which I still need to go in and tag like personal as a project. So like, for example, shower. I bought Christmas presents this morning for an hour. Like that's under personal, right? Or versus like team, like training, right? Training could be a project. But then you'll see I spent 3 hours with Robbie this week. He is a client. I spent 2 hours with Adrian, onboarded her. I spent 2 hours with Cassie. I've spent an hour and a half with Tyler. I've spent an hour and 15 with Ari. I've spent an hour with Megan, and I've spent about half an hour with my second business SJ project. So it breaks down how much time you're actually spending with each client. And then you can even tag it as things like what you're working on, right? So there's multiple ways to use this, but I just want to let you know, if you've never done a time audit before, this will be a great month to implement that. And it's really simple. You can I have it here on my bookmarks bar, but you can just leave it open. You can go back through at the end of the day and try to complete it. Sometimes when I do that, I always forget, like honestly, the 30 minutes before this call, it's 20, but that's fine. I ate lunch. So, that was what I did. Right. And if I tried to fill this out at 5, I might not remember that for those 20 minutes, I ate lunch, right? And for this hour, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, boom, group coaching for an hour. So I definitely recommend you guys spend some time tracking with Toggl or something else. You don't have to do high tech. You can literally write it on a piece of paper. You can set a timer to go off every hour on the hour. And during that time, you write down like what you did. Most people, like, we have this estimation about how much time we think it's going to take us to do something. And we grossly overestimate how much we can get done in a day. Like we underestimate how much time things are going to take. So therefore we overestimate how many tasks we think we can get done. And a lot of the research right now is saying you really have 2 90-minute blocks. That's it. So if you could only work for 3 hours a day, chances are you'd get 1, maybe 2 things done. What are those 1 to 2 things that are the most important needle moving activities for you? That's when we loop back into the weekly game plan and prioritization, right? So that's something I've been working on that I really felt called to show you guys. I'm going to see if there's any questions about this so far. So this is for you guys, right? So if you're here watching me, friends, make sure you're asking me questions, letting me know, how would you use this? Like, do you think you're underestimating how much time it's going to take to do things? Are you overestimating how much you think you can get done in a day? Right? Are you seeing those in your own life? If you were going to use Toggl, how would you use it? If you were going to use my sticky note system, how would you use it? Start making these connections as I'm talking and then sharing it with the group, because a lot of you have similar businesses to one another. So your insight may seem really small to you, but it may be exactly what someone else needs to hear. So it's really a generosity of spirit when you share things like that in a comment. Okay, so I'm going to refresh this to make sure we don't have any questions, and then I'll share my other thing I wanted to share with you guys today. All right, so no more big questions. So you guys, like, I have 40 minutes here with you. I have one more thing to show you, and then I want to answer your specific questions. So questions as related to business, questions as related to productivity, questions as related to life. You get me. I am here for you. Use this time wisely. I'm here. So like my brain is here. This is you get to pick my brain time. So take a second, take a breath. What are you feeling challenged with right now? How's it going? Are you happy? And if you're not happy, then why? What's going on? Maybe there's a question there that you need to ask today. So Rex is saying, Toggl looks interesting, like the visual on the wall as he's stimulated by visual. Yeah, this is like incredibly helpful. And for visual people, I'm visual as well. And I found it also speeds up the visualization process. Because if you just have slots that you know you need to fill, you just start visualizing the kind of people that's going to fill that spot. Right? Makes visualization easy, easy, easy. Okay, so my other thing I'm going to show you guys today is Trello. So this is the other big tool I've been using. I think I've shared it with you briefly. I know I talked about it in the module about VAs because all of my VAs get their own Trello boards. All right, so if we go to my boards. So you can see here I have personal boards. So that's about like me, right? My 2020 goals. This should be down here. I have to figure out how to move that. My CEO day, which is a process I go through every month to get realigned to what I'm creating. By the way, if any of this sounds interesting, if you're like, oh, I want to learn more about that, let me know in a comment and I'm happy to share. An incantations board, which has it has mission statements, my vision board, my definite major purpose statement. That's kind of where I capture things like that. And then my week. And this is what you guys know as weekly game plan, prioritize, prepare, I think. I know it's the 3 Ps. I can't remember if that's the order or not. Just kind of do it at this point. So this is my things I need to get done on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. As you can see, I don't really have a whole lot of tasks. And there are some days, like Monday, I had so many calls. I didn't even have anything to do. I just needed to show up to all my calls. So it's really important that you realize that, like, prioritization is actually really, really important, and you can do it. You can do it. You can prioritize. Let me go back to my boards. So Brad and Jasmine boards, this is his stuff. So I help him with his content. Brad, my boyfriend. This is Jasmine Jonte Coaching and Consulting. So here you'll see different VAs, Krista, Joy, and Alona. You'll also see Learning Experience Design, which is a board that I capture all of my constant and never-ending improvement ideas on, I suppose you'd say. It's like saying if you were an architect and you had a board about new strategies or new ideas to incorporate into architecture, right? If you're someone who does houses and there's this new trendy fireplace, you'd put it on that board so that you can think, okay, during one of my next projects, I want to incorporate one of these like new trendy fireplaces. That's what that board is for me. This was my launch board. So you guys remember in September when we did a launch? These are all of the things that have to happen when you do a launch. It's a lot. And that's why I use Trello. It's so easy to toggle all things, complete, incomplete, things like that. And this is the VA tasks template that you have access to in module 4, I think. Whichever module the VAs are in. I can't remember which one it is. Okay, so here are my client boards. Right, here's some different clients I'm working on. Here's completed projects, and here's SJ projects, which is my second business. So if we come back to JJC&C, here's a beta launch template. For a masterclass. So masterclass launch, if you're going to launch a masterclass that leads to a course or some kind of beta program, this is what the strategy looks like. And then it's like, okay, well, how do I make sure all that stuff happens? Here's the way to make sure all that stuff happens. So you can see with what I do, this makes a ton of sense because I'm to really high level project management. Okay. So think about, how could this relate to your business? Like, where could you use a project management system? Is there a new project you're rolling out? Are you building a website? Well, then each of your pages for your website could get a list, right? Could be like homepage. And you'd have the copy, you'd have the design, you'd have the photos, whatever it looks like to you, okay? Let's see, what are some other projects? Like, what are some projects you have going up? I think Rex is doing a virtual summit. So he would have a speakers list. He would have a marketing list. What are all the lists he would need in order to make a virtual summit happen? Right? So a lot of times people like make project planning into this really hard, big thing. And you kind of just gotta, especially if it's your first time doing a project, you kind of just have to get on something like this and play. Like, set a timer for 45 minutes and just brain dump, like that emptying out process. Empty out, but on a board, as much as you possibly can. And then you'll start to say, oh, okay, this doesn't belong here. It belongs over here. You can slide things around. And if you use the calendar, oh, this is a bad example for this board. Let me see, here we go. Does this one work? No, there's no dates there. Here we go. So you can see, like, oh, okay, this is kind of what I'm working with. These are when different things are due. And you can even toggle it here, right? You can change the dates. So I totally recommend that if you guys are considering projects. What are some of the projects you're working on right now? Yeah, so Rex is asking about Trello. He said that it looks like you go very granular with it. Yeah, you can get like super in the weeds with Trello. So you have to kind of know when too much is too much. And sometimes, Rex, that means that if there's a board that's getting really, really big, it usually means there's a couple boards within that board. So if you have a really, really, really big project, like I know you're doing a summit, in my experience, you can fit a summit on one board. But if you were doing like Tony Robbins Summit, maybe there's a board for content, there's a board for marketing, there's a board for affiliates, because it's such a massive, massive, massive project. But there's others for something like your First Live Summit, you can fit it on one board for the most part. So that's kind of how you deal with that. Hey, Charles, happy to have you here. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm here to answer questions. And I do prefer Trello over other software programs. That being said, I haven't really used Asana, and Asana is like the main competitor. A lot of people I know love Asana, and I haven't used it because it's harder to navigate. Like, in my experience, it's harder to figure out Asana than figure out Trello. Like, I figured out Trello in like 30 minutes. Easy. Trello's easy. There's some harder things like automations. Like, you can have a way so that a card pops up every month for you to do your social media, or like a list pops up every week for a weekly process that a VA is doing. I don't know how to do that stuff yet. I'm actually hiring someone to help me learn that stuff. But when it comes to just like getting in and getting stuff done, Trello was so much easier to get started with than Asana, which is why I went Trello. The other one I can compare it to is Monday.com, which is great if you have a really big team. But again, like Monday, it was kind of the same thing. It was harder to just get started. And I just wanted to get going. And once you kind of get into Trello, you realize, oh my gosh, this is so easy. I can invite people to these boards. I see when things get done. It's easy to communicate. Like, if someone tags you on one of those little cards, you get an email and you can respond to the email rather than going into the board and responding to the card. So that's really, really helpful. So yeah, I super love Trello, and I love that it's free. Like, you guys, this is a free tool. There is like upgrades, Trello for Business. I'll be upgrading to Trello for Business soon, but it's a free tool and it works awesome. It's so visually organized. Okay. All right, looking at my comments. I think Rex asked something about a live summit. So if there's no other questions about Trello, I will move on to answer your questions. All right, let's see if I do this. Okay. All right, so now I'll go through y'all's questions. Is there a Trello question? No. All right. How do you reach out to people outside of your comfort zone for summits? Approaching big name people for a summit in January that are connected through a charity that I want to connect with the summit, but looking for the best approach. Okay, great question, Rex. And this applies to a lot of you here, because if you want to build a business, you need people. You need partners. And one of the fastest ways to do it is through joint ventures. A joint venture looks like, I'm trying to think of a really mainstream example. Hillary Duff. I don't know if you guys know Hillary Duff. I love Hillary Duff. She partners with Glasses USA, and she has these Hillary Duff branded glasses, and they're like she helps Glasses USA design them, or however they work it. And then when people buy the glasses, both Glasses USA receives part of that profit, and Hillary Duff receives part of that profit, because she's like the face of this particular line that Glasses USA promotes, and she promotes it as well. Both people win, because now people know Glasses USA for having cute glasses, and sometimes I bet they promote them, they refer their friends, oh my gosh, I got these cute glasses on Glasses USA, you gotta check it out. And also, if they go on the site, and like I go on the site because I'm looking for Hillary Duff's glasses, but I also see these cute sunglasses that have nothing to do with her line, maybe I buy those too. Hillary Duff wins because she gets cute glasses and she gets a profit. These kind of relationships can grow your business really, really quickly. Joint venture. Another example closer to home, you guys know Brad. So Brad got his start in masterminds because he met another guy in a mastermind who was running an Amazon business. So it was an e-commerce business. And Brad was like, dude, how are you making so much money, like working no hours? He's like, well, I run e-commerce. He sold cat tunnels. You know, those like tunnels that cats have a maze with and run through and whatever. And Brad's like, oh my God, I want to learn how to do that. And this guy, Michael, was like, people ask me all the time, you know, but like to work with me one-on-one, my rate's like $40,000. Like it was something really high. And Brad was like, well, I don't have $40,000, but I'm sure I can find other people who want to learn from you as well. And I'm happy to organize the whole thing if you just teach us. So that's what they did. So Michael and Brad partnered up, and Brad like organized a trip to China, and they went and they actually sourced products, and they learned the A to Z of how to build a business on Amazon. Now, Brad got his trip paid for. He had direct access to Michael. He met all these amazing people, and Michael got paid. Joint venture. That is a business that led Brad to become the mastermind guy. So when you're reaching out to people about your summit, to bring it back to that, Rex, right? Because everybody can build their businesses through partnering with other people. You need to realize that they are actively seeking opportunities. So anytime you come to them with an opportunity, you're giving them a gift. Really, you're giving them a gift. Now, it's up to them to decide if now's the right time for them to be involved in something like that, because there are some people who it's just they're too busy and they don't have the time to do it. And when you're doing this, you need to realize every single person is unique and different. So when you're looking at having 10 speakers on your summit, something like that, don't approach them all with the same strategy, because what's important to one person is not going to be important to the other. When I ran my mastermind, I had a guest speaker on every month. And some of those people I emailed. And we're talking like big names, people who have best-selling books, people who are well-known in the personal development industry. Allison Armstrong, Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., I'm trying to think who else. One of Brene Brown's lead coaches. Like, they came on and they spoke on my mastermind, and I'm like, not a big deal. Like, I'm really not. Like, you guys, like, I don't have a huge following. I'm not a millionaire yet. Like, in this physical reality, right? I am a millionaire, just not in this physical reality. Like, right? Like, who am I? I'm just like some little 30-year-old, almost 30-year-old, running a business and helping people. But they can feel that heart. They can feel that heart. So for each of them, they wanted different things. Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. was like, I would just love for you to share with them about my book. Okay, great. Allison Armstrong was like, this is my fee. Okay, great. Brene Brown's coach, she gave me a fee, and I was like, that's outside of my budget. I'd really love to do this. Here's what I have. Let me know how we can like make a deal. And she made it happen. Like, we worked a deal and it worked out. So part of it is like, you need to realize they're going to have boundaries set and respect those boundaries and just like lead with your heart. And then the other way is like through relationships. So leveraging your relationships that you've built, which is why everybody, like, you got to be building relationships all the time. You got to have like key people you want to stay in touch with. So example for me is a guy named Luke Wren. My friend knew him. We made it a point to get him to have me and Luke join each other for lunch at an event. And that was like a couple years ago. And I was a success story for some things that Luke had taught me at an event. And so then we stayed in touch. And I do things like, on his birthday, I send him kids' books that he can read with his 3-year-old, like 3-year-old appropriate books. So you just find ways to be in this person's circle of influence. When he was doing an event, I reached out and I was like, hey, Luke, would love to send all of my people to your event. Like, let me know how we can partner up on this joint venture. I got a VIP ticket. All of my people got front row seating, and they paid GA tickets. And it's because I was bringing a group. It ended up not happening because of COVID, but that was the intention. That was the plan. So like being around those relationships, leveraging those relationships, if you're a degree of separation away, meaning like, who's another example of this? So I had a 3-time world, Anne-Marie Sakurado, she's a 3-time world champion boxer. I met her, I knew a friend who knew her, and I said, hey, will you introduce me? And they introduced me, and then she came on the mastermind. Or John Jaquish, who's the founder of OsteoStrong. I had a friend who knew him. So I said, hey, will you introduce me to Dr. John? I'd love to have him on my mastermind. So then he came on. So think about, who are those people? What's the 1 degree of separation? And just always be networking. Like I always want to have at least a couple new people on my calendar every week. And some of them it's like, okay, this was fun. And, and then some of them it's like, okay, let's keep in touch and create a system for yourself to continue to reach back out and talk to these people. Build your network. Build your network. So kind of to sum this up for you, Rex, I know I have more comments coming in, but to sum this up for you, one, don't be afraid to reach out and give them a gift. Just reach out, give them a gift, explain what you're doing, and explain it from a place of like, this is not what can you do for me, this is what can I do for you. And if there's someone who you support their mission, if you support their mission, then if the summit isn't a good fit for them, but you're leaving yourself open to support their mission in some way, they may give you, hey, that's not working, but I am doing a podcast and I would love if you could, use one of the podcasts on your summit. There could be like some way where you can both feel like you win. Okay, so one is don't be afraid to reach out, but go with that mindset of how can I give to this person, not how can I get this person to be on my summit. Kind of like in general marketing, you guys, like, we have cold, warm, and hot traffic. You got to warm up the cold ones and you got to make the warm ones hotter in order for them to say yes to working with you. It's kind of like that with summits. You got to go to them and be like, how can I help? How can I help? How can I help? How can I help? Give, ask. A great book on that, for some reason it's coming up, is Go for No. Go for No? Is that the name of it? Go for No? No, that's not the name of it. The Go-Giver. The Go-Giver. Go check out that book, The Go-Giver. Great book. Bob Burg. Awesome dude. He's an awesome dude. You know why? Because he actually lives that book. Anytime you comment on his social media, he comments back and tags you. It's pretty fun. Cool. Okay. So that's one. Don't reach out. Go to give. Two, use your network. Who's 1 degree of separation? Ask them. How else to give you a third way? Reach out to people outside of your comfort zone for summits. Batch it. So of course you're not using the same strategy for everyone. Maybe it's all kind of like a similar message to them, but then how they respond is going to very much determine how you partner with them. Batch it. So when I first did this for my mastermind, I had to reach out to all these people. I was terrified. Like, I was like, who am I? Like, such imposter syndrome. Who am I? How can I possibly help this person? Like, they're not going to want to talk to me in my little group. Like, I barely even have a group together yet. All this stuff, like, it's totally up in my head. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get in state and I'm going to do it. So I got in state. I had a dance party. I just like visualized the result. I got excited. I got attached to my why, my motivation, all these things. And I had a list of people that I had made a day before or something. And I just fired off all the emails at once. And I just reached out to all the people at once. And it only took me an hour to actually do all the work. But doing it all at once just kind of gave me the momentum to get through it rather than just like dipping. It's one of those things you got to do a cannonball into these reach outs. You can't like dip your toe in or you'll never get in the water. So just like cannonball into it. That would probably be my third tip. So let me see all these other comments that I have. All right, Rex. Okay, I don't think I have any other questions from Rex. Rex, if you're still with me and you have any follow-up questions, feel free to ask. I hope that was helpful. Charles, what do you suggest when you get totally off track? I've had so much personal stuff going on that I stopped doing anything business-wise. I don't even know where I left off. LOL. Let me think on that for a second. One thing that keeps popping into my head is celebrate the small steps when you do step back into doing stuff. And I mean like full on celebrate. Shake that ass. Charles, I know you know shake that ass. Shake that ass. Give yourself a personal high five. Have a little dance party. Run and hug your wife or your kids. Woo! Like be your own cheering section. Pretend the crowd is going wild. Whatever it is, whichever way of celebration that really makes you feel alive. Because that's when we fall off track and then we're getting back on track, that's when we need to be the kindest with ourselves, because we don't have the power of momentum to boost us up. It's almost like you have to celebrate harder that you're getting back on track than when you're on a roll. Because which takes more effort, right? Is it to turn a crank in the beginning, or if it's going, to keep it going? Takes more to turn a crank in the beginning, right? Takes more effort. So you have to celebrate the amount of effort that you're putting into getting back on track. So celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. That's the first thing that's coming through right now. And the second thing that's coming through is, don't let a perfect plan be your roadblock. A lot of times we think it's a fresh slate, right? Like, I stopped working on my business, now I'm going to start up again. I have this fresh slate, so let me be super effective and get all of my plans in line before I start. This is kind of one of those times you just have to start, and clarity will come from the action. So don't worry about you needing clarity to take action. Just take the action and you'll get the clarity, and then you'll adjust as you gain momentum. But like, the only thing you need to do right now is just act and celebrate, act and celebrate, act and celebrate, and constantly be aware of what feels the most aligned, what feels the most fun, what feels the lightest, what what feels like the best way for me to just kick it into high gear right now. You do that, and I think 2 weeks from now, when we're back on our accountability call, it'll be like, whoa, that shit worked. I just did a little bit every day, but it compounded, and I celebrated myself every day for getting back on track. Let me share with you a graphic. Will this work? Okay. Share. Okay. So this is the idea that, whatever it is you want to create, we go through these stages of consciousness and competence. So when you begin, you're unconsciously incompetent. You don't know that you're bad. You have no idea. Like, have you ever seen a little kid running around and he's like playing with the soccer ball, but he's going the wrong direction and he's using his hands and his feet, and he has no freaking idea how to play soccer. He has no idea how to go to goal, but he's totally unconscious of it. He thinks he's doing it great. He just has no idea that he's not playing the game of soccer. He's just kind of playing with the ball, right? So that's unconscious incompetence. But then what happens is we start to learn how we're incompetent, and we become aware that we're not doing it correctly. We become aware that we're not good at it. We become aware that we have a lot of work to do if we want to actually get to that goal. And this is the moment where you need to have the most kindness with yourself. Because if you get really down on yourself here, you'll never get to the place where you're competent. So what's happening is you're starting to, and this is for all of us, right? We're starting to realize things that we're not great at. And as we realize it more and more and become more conscious of our incompetencies and whatever it is, that's when we need to be the most kind to ourselves. And we need to celebrate our awareness, because when you celebrate your awareness, you're seeing how you grow. Because here, the only difference between this and this is consciousness. Another word for consciousness is awareness. So from going from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence, I don't know I suck at something, to I know I suck at something. You have to be kind to yourself, and you can celebrate the fact that you now have the awareness. And that in and of itself is growth. Once you get to that place and you celebrate it, you can celebrate your awareness. Now you're actually open to becoming consciously competent, meaning knowing you're good at something and actively working on it, right? Like, I know I'm getting better. I can see myself getting results. Oh, I can actually do this. And so on the higher level, right? So way over here, because this is a continuum, way over here, you're like super awesome at something, and you know you're super awesome at something. And then you get to a place where you're good at it, but you don't really have to work hard at it. You don't have to think about it. You just, on an internal level, you're good at it. You know you're good at it. And what's beautiful about being in this place, which all of you guys, you're unconsciously competent at a lot of things. You're unconsciously competent at putting your pants on, right? In the morning, you don't have to think about it. One foot, other foot, you don't have to think about it to do that. Or your pajamas if you're working from home. But what's great about this place is a lot of the things that other people admire about you, you're unconsciously competent about it, so you don't see it, but other people see it. And when you step back here into being aware of how good you are at it, that feels really good. That feels really good. Like today with my coach, she was talking to me about just teaching and how I teach and how I help my clients teach and what they come to me for, and all of these pieces of me that I don't realize I do, but other people do, because they are in a place where they're consciously incompetent about it. Do you see? You getting it? So really, Charles, just remember as you move through this scale, be kind to yourself about your awareness in order to get yourself from here to here, and be celebratory of that awareness, and then be celebratory of your behaviors to get from here to here. And when you're here, we often don't celebrate it at all. So we require other people to reflect and mirror back to us how great we are at that thing we don't even realize we're great at. That maybe we once worked on really hard, but we don't have to work on it anymore. Let's check our Facebook. Let's see. So Rex is asking, would Conscious Competence Squad be the best place to hire help or to get education to get you to conscious competence? Great question. I think it depends on the task, right? So, example, I'll just use something I was talking about earlier, Trello for Butler for Trello. There's this automation section of Trello that I don't know how to use, and it is confusing to me. So I'm hiring someone to teach that to me so that I can very rapidly move up. Because right now I know I'm incompetent at it, and I could slowly, step by step, do things my own way to move up the scale into competence and then unconscious competence. However, hiring someone to teach me speeds up my results. You guys are here because you felt like you were incompetent around productivity in some way, shape, or form. And so you hired me so I can help you speed up that cycle. So you can become aware of what you're good at and what you're not, so you can get better at the things you're not good at. And so eventually you're really competent at productivity, which I feel like I'm in a space now of, I've been working on this for so long. a lot of the things I do naturally to really increase my productivity levels, I don't even think about it. It's unconscious, right? So that's, I think really it speeds it up, right? Like hiring help, getting education. I think it speeds you up to conscious competence. And then, yes, I do think there are things where it's not necessary for you to know how to do them in order to get them done. And it's like, I know I'm not good at that, and I'm cool with that. I have someone else to take care of that for me. So a lot of my clients are like that with like Facebook ads. They're like, I know I don't know how to do Facebook ads. I'm happy not knowing, as long as I'm partnered with someone who does know what they're doing and getting the results that I need to get. Right? So I think it depends on what it is, because there are some skills, especially in business, that you just need, like copywriting. You guys, you just have to know how to be persuasive and influential. You just do. Whether you're in sales on the phone, sales on a sales page, sales in a one-on-one conversation, sales one-to-many, sales one-to-one, it doesn't matter. Like, you have to know how to be persuasive and influential. You have to know how to master your time, because no one owns your time but you. And there's other things that, yeah, if you can outsource it and you're cool being in that conscious incompetence place, rock and roll, baby. I have those areas for sure. For sure. Graphic design. Not competent like my people are competent, and I don't freaking care because they do it for me. Great. All right. So I feel like that wraps it up with the conscious incompetence. I'm going to move to Miguel's comment. How do I get centered? I have a lot of change on the horizon. He injured his knee on Sunday playing soccer and will probably need surgery. I run pretty consistently, and it helps me with discipline, puts me in a better state, and I use it to motivate myself on other aspects of life. Such a great awareness, Miguel. So he uses running and physical exercise as a way to de-stress, get in a good state, feel good. And if your health is your highest value, right? If you think about the other areas of your wheel of life, if you can see how your finances impact your health, how your family impacts your health, how your emotions impact your health, and how if you have positive experiences in all of those other areas, your health gets better. It's awesome. It's like the ultimate motivation. Like, if you can get back down to like your root why or your ultimate motivation, a lot of times that ultimate motivation will feed you in a lot of different places. One, as an example, one of my ultimate motivations is Juniper, my dog. I left my job because it meant I could stay home with her all day, every day. A lot of my motivation to increase my financial resources is so that I can give back to organizations that serve dogs like Juniper. Like, if you look at my wheel of life, I can find a Juniper motivation in every single one of those. So getting to that root motivation is really helpful. So Miguel, first, congrats on knowing this is very, very important motivation for you and like having that awareness. He says, I don't usually have issues dealing with stress, but the last few days he's been finding it hard to get out of this state. Okay. So first I'm going to say, Miguel, like, it's okay to feel your feelings, because it sounds to me like being a runner, being an athlete is attached to your identity, right? It's a part of that makes up who you are. So when something like that gets taken away due to an injury, due to an illness, due to a tragedy, whatever it is in your life, whatever part of your identity is taken away, right? For Miguel, right now we're talking about running, but like I'm just thinking about like death of a loved one, right? If you're a son, if you're a daughter, if you're a mom, if you're a dad, if you're a brother, if you're a sister, and someone dies, it's a part of your identity kind of dies with it too. At least it feels like that sometimes. So whatever it is, when you feel like part of your identity, careers, oh my God, how many people associate their career with their identity, right? Especially as a teacher, like I am a teacher. I am very strong in my identity. So I happened to leave a career, but took that identity with me. But for a lot of people, they leave a career and now all of a sudden they don't have that identity anymore. And as business owners, oh man, if you hear one thing I say today, hear this, guys. You are not your business. You are not your business. Your worthiness is not attached to how well your business does. Your emotions are not attached to how well your business is doing. Do not give your power away to your business. Like, cannot stress that enough. You are not your business. You are a human being. And really, you're a soul having a human experience. So, like, don't give your identity away to your business, okay? But when these things get taken away and we're starting to come to this conscious awareness of, oh my gosh, like, this is really kind of messing me up. First is give yourself a little grace. Like, be kind to yourself. Do not pick up a baseball bat and start beating yourself with it, metaphorically, metaphorically, I guess is the right, figuratively, whatever the right word is there. Don't do that. Sit with it. Be like, okay, so this is happening. So I'm feeling like I'm not in a good state right now. So I'm really frustrated that I can't go running because that sucks. And this has been my coping mechanism. And just like really let yourself feel it. Tony talks about this. Tony Robbins. He's like, he's got the 60-second rule. And for 60 seconds, he's allowed to react in any way he freaking wants to react. Scream, yell, fight, whatever. 60 seconds. And then it's like, okay, now I'm not going to give my power away to this problem anymore. And that's when you settle into the affirmations of like, I can figure this out. This might not be fun, but gosh darn it, I will figure it out. I am stronger than this. I am smarter than this. I prepared for this. You can't break me. So give yourself a second first to recap this for you, Miguel. Give yourself a second first to feel the feelings, right? Feel the feelings, let yourself go there, do whatever you need to do. And then step into the space of, okay, now I'm not going to give my power away anymore. This is what I'm going to do moving forward. And when you disassociate, like when you disidentify, this is in the module on, I think it's energy part 1. When you disidentify with these emotions that you're having, like if it's frustration, anger, stress, whatever, when you say, I'm not the body, I'm not the thoughts, I'm not the emotions, I'm the soul, and you disintegrate it, it naturally, like energetically, it loses its power. There's a motorcycle out there. You guys want to see? Oh, no. I don't know if you'll be able to see him. Oh, no. He's already gone too far. I was going to show you the motorcycle. But when you disidentify, you say, okay, I'm not my emotions, I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my feelings. Just disidentify that, disintegrate that. It'll naturally kind of lose the zing that you might feel right now. Like if you're feeling like zingy about it, like it touches a nerve for you, do some of that work to disidentify and disintegrate. So I'm not the body, I'm not the thoughts, I'm not the emotions, I'm the soul. The mind is but a subtle instrument of the soul. So go back to that module if you want, rewatch that. Also, like if I just look at the first 5 words of your comment, how do I get centered? Meditate. Full stop. Period. End of story. Meditate. Master Co is doing a series right now. He's been doing it for months called the Anchor the Light Sessions. And he goes live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and does the meditation on twin hearts. It's about 15 minutes. His video will look like an hour, and that's because he does lecture at the beginning. So if you only want to do the meditation, just scroll to the end where you see him go like this, and that's when you start. Okay, so if he's got his eyes closed and his hands are up, or his hands are like this, you know, okay, this is the part around here where he starts the meditation, and just start there and watch it. I mean, I can't even tell you. Like I did one this morning, and you get finished and it's like, quiet. The mind chatter just stops. So Thanks, you guys. Miguel, I'm so glad that was helpful. Rex, I'm so glad I've helped add warp speed. I'm super grateful to you guys. This is implementation month, so go get after it. Dig into a module that you want to rewatch or one that you haven't had a chance to connect with yet. If there's any other questions I can answer for you, please send me a message. I'm happy to answer them. In the meantime, I'll be here in the group, but I'll see you live like this in 2 weeks for our accountability session. So this is your time to really answer anything about Productive AF specifically. But as always, I'm here for you. So if there's something outside the scope of productivity, but more in the scope of business, happy to help. And next month, we are going to be doing our module live. So get ready for a poll to come out asking about when something is most available for you to do a live session, because you guys have been so amazing this year. I'm so proud of all of the work you've put in, and I'm so just amazed with the results you've been getting. So I thought it will be really fun for us to do a live session in December. So they're not recorded, like you go into the module, we'll actually do it live on Zoom. I'll get to answer your questions. And it's all about setting yourself up for a rock star 2021, because this year's been a doozy for everybody. And I'm going to do everything I can in my power to help you feel like you're your most aligned, productive, amazing self to knock 2021 out of the park. So if you're excited for that, let me know in a comment below, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.